As I was just seeing your t-shirt, your brand, it's Talentfarm.Ai. What is the history behind it about this?
The reason we call it Talent Farm because we invite the companies to start working with the students while they are in first year, second year of engineering, and they can actually farm their talent by the time they come out of college.
Wow.
So that's the logic behind
Good.
Talent Farm.
Must say. So for a year, you can groom yourself, you get a platform where you can know your weaknesses, your positive points, everything,
And get placed
and get placed.
at a remuneration which is high.
And the people from rural area, like how they wanted to be in the cities.
Our punchline or our tagline is democratizing opportunities for students and democratizing talent for companies.
So at what age you started this?
When I was 21, just out of my college, come from a business family background.
Didn't your father told you we already had a business and you're planning something? I think India has a great job opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And not only for India, but we can be a job, we can be a
Provider.
talent provider for the entire world.
So you work on this, you do the counseling part also of going for a startup or want to be entrepreneur, because you need a lot of psychology effect.
Somewhere in our country, a business failure is treated as a failure of person.
Main, you have to accept the failures.
Every day we fail, and every day again we get up and say, hey, yesterday we failed, but today we will not.
Good one, great inspiration.
Success doesn't come overnight. For every success story that you read, there are years and years of sleepless nights.
Sometimes people say, give me 1 year. If I succeed. If I don't, I'll go back.
So I've been taking that extension from my parents for the last 20 years now.
Give me 1 more year. Give me 1 more year.
Next day.
Welcome to my show Trendsetters. Well, I've come up with a new idea of tea startup. I'm in Tea Hub and they have come up with new idea that's really excite me. A great platform to come together between students and professionals. Something going in your mind? Don't get confused. There's so many things to explore about this. And he's a man who created something really different. He can solve many problems and new idea. So we always crave for new ideas, right? New businesses, new ideas, what else we want. So let's find out more about what was his journey, what he gone through, and what you can get more about it. Thank you, Pankaj, for joining iDream Media, and it was a great pleasure to meet you. As I was just seeing your t-shirt, your brand, it's Talentfarm.Ai. So I was just getting into my mind. Let me get into the details. Like, what is the history behind it about this name? If we
Thank
can
you, Neha.
explore it.
Thank you for this opportunity. Well, you were just talking about a new idea, right?
Yeah.
So Talent Farm is definitely, Talentfarm.ai is definitely a new idea, but it's solving a very old problem. If I go back about 25, 30 years back when I was sitting in engineering college, I remember people talking about the gap between academia and industry. You see, you have to understand in India, you have a very typical problem where you have more than 10 lakh engineering graduates who are coming out of colleges and searching for job opportunities. There's a lot of despair about not getting proper job opportunities. And paradoxically, on the other side, you have industry, startups, all scrambling for good talent.
Yes.
So it's a huge talent paradox. And what Talentfarm.ai is trying to do is solve this talent paradox. We created a platform which is AI based platform where we source problem statements from our industry partners. We also put some incentives on these problem statements because this generation apparently likes challenges and does only when there are incentives attached to that. So looking at that psychology, we bring real life challenges from our partner companies, from our industry partners in various domains like agriculture, health, manufacturing, all kinds of areas. We also provide them a lot of learning resources and we provide them a lot of mentor access. That's another big missing point if you see in our colleges, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So we've onboarded more than 150 mentors. And apart from just providing mentoring, these are also people who become role model for these kids. Imagine a student studying in a remote place getting to meet a senior professional from Microsoft, Google, or the likes of such companies, or even a startup founder who has built his career from the scratch, right? That's when there's fuel that gets generated in the body of these youngsters, and they say, oh, I can also become like this, or can I even become 10% of this person? So we're putting this all this together, and then while the student solves these challenges over a period of 4 to 6 months, there's a AI buddy which constantly monitors their progress, nudges them to do their work, and also gives feedback. Because if you see today, students are often told they are good or bad. There is no data, there is no evidence, there is no continuous feedback to give them that. Students also resign to the fact that my faculty will always call me a bad person, my
Okay.
parents will always call me a bad guy. होता है ना घर में कि
Yeah.
भाई ये तो
Criticism.
नालायक है, ये कुछ काम का ही नहीं है. So
Criticism.
there's an impression which gets created, and whether we like it or not, all are biased. Once we create an impression, we continue that impression. Whereas what we are doing is the student gets a feedback from an unbiased AI engine which continuously gives the feedback. That means the student has a chance to improve, and the student cannot challenge that feedback because it is based on evidence. For example, let's say there's an interaction like this with a mentor. We also capture whether the student was proactive in asking questions or not, or
Oh.
if the mentor has given a feedback, has he applied the feedback or not? And all that is done as a in a friendly way. So most probably the interaction would start something like this. The buddy would probably start by asking, did you watch the match yesterday? How was the match yesterday? And you know, the weather was very good yesterday. Did you go out somewhere? And then slowly also say, hey, you remember you had a interaction with Neha and she gave some feedback. Have you applied that? There's also some assignment that you have to submit. So we are changing the whole paradigm, how students are treated, how we behave with students, because I think this generation wants to have that kind of respect, wants to have that kind of importance. So looking at the psychology of the youngsters and the need of the industry, we're building this. Now, as the student progresses, solving these problems, building these solutions, there's a profile that gets created of the student with score.
Okay.
What are his positive traits? What are the areas he has to improve? And this is what we show to the companies, recruiters, and startups and monetize. So that's the whole story of Talent Farm. The reason we call it Talent Farm, because we invite the companies to start working with the students while they are in first year, second year of engineering, and they can actually farm their talent by the time they come out of college. So
Wow.
that's the logic behind
Good.
Talent Farm.
Must say. But I wanted to know like how you can do all this process, how it goes. Like there is like they have to come and join it or register themselves, how the procedure
So it's a
goes.
very simple two-step onboarding process. In fact, we are very proud to say that we have recently launched math.talentfarm.ai. This is actually in collaboration with Math, which is Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence Technology Hub.
Maths like comes, we feel like it's a subject, maths.
This is
Yeah.
Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence
Yeah.
Technology Hub. The whole of seventh floor of T Hub is Math. It's a center of excellence, which is a
Okay.
joint venture between T Hub
Okay.
and DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So
Oh.
the students also get the advantage of a co-certification with Math. And like I said, they just have to log into the portal. And incidentally, the good part about all this is we don't charge anything to the students. We just have a small seriousness fee for the
Oh.
students, because our model is to monetize it with the companies, because they spend 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
grooming the candidates, spend lakhs of rupees. So we are telling the company that you don't have to do that any longer. We'll be presenting you the Janam Kundli or the Karam Kundli of the student in such a way, of the candidate in such a way, that you can onboard them right from day
How
one.
much like you said, there is no fee, then what is the registrant?
There's a small seriousness fee of 500 rupees,
So
because
how
we
long
just,
you can utilize at
at
500?
least for a year.
So for a year you can groom yourself, you get a platform
Correct.
where you can know your weaknesses, your
Correct.
positive points,
Correct.
everything,
And get placed
and get placed.
at a remuneration which is higher than what they would get in their college. That is also our guarantee.
There must be a lot of reiki out of that, it's not that easy job for you as a startup. What challenges
It's
you were
not an
facing?
easy job as a startup, but fortunately, both me and my co-founder Sudarshan Tyagarajan, we've spent a lot of time in this industry. For example, all my career I've spent in this industry for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Had another startup, Idealaz, where we've been working with colleges and universities across India, more than 150 colleges and universities. There we have trained more than 10 lakh students in the last 20 years. But if you see the need of this country, you need 20 lakhs or 10 lakh students every year to be trained. That's the kind of demand, that's the kind of supply that we have. So that's where we realize that having a AI platform will help us scale. So the whole AI, Gen AI kind of thing has come as a godsend opportunity for us. So we are using the latest technology of AI and our experience and domain knowledge and combining these two. We already have access to market. Just 2 days back, we signed an MOU with more than 60 universities and colleges on one platform. I cannot imagine any other private organization being able to get
So
together.
then how the who take like the what professional kind of come on board? On what basis
So
you
as of now,
take the professionals?
this is for students of engineering stream, especially focused on computer science and allied fields. But over a period of time, we plan to expand it to all other streams of engineering and also plan to expand it to working professionals. Because if you see, for example, if I am a professional working in a company, and let's say I have been working on traditional technology like Java or .NET, or I've been working in testing related area, and now I want to get on to AI area. How do I prove my potential recruiter that I also have the knowledge, right?
True.
Typically in a resume, though, everyone writes that I am good, I have done this, I have done that. Whereas if that candidate comes on our platform, builds a solution, solves a problem, then there's an authentic proof of what he has done. So there is evidence backed story everywhere. For us also, when we go to the companies and recruiters, we don't tell them we are a great finishing school, we have great trainers, we have great pedagogy. Of course, we have all that. But the fact is, we say there's an AI engine which has measured every aspect of the candidate. Please look at that and take your decision. So it's all
Oh,
evidence based, it's
so
all
how
data based.
little bit of demo can you show us
Oh,
how it
of
works
course,
so
sure.
that
Sure. So I'll probably share with you the demo of math.talentfarm.ai.
normal guy, that was a very good, interesting point. The people
Absolutely.
from
So,
rural area,
yes.
like how they wanted to be in the cities.
I'm glad you brought this because our punchline or our tagline is democratizing opportunities for students and democratizing talent for companies. And let
Yes.
me take a minute to explain
Yeah.
this. You see, even today in 2024, companies only go to branded colleges.
Yes.
Whereas you know, and we all know, that talent is not a proprietary of any particular
Brand
college
or
or geography,
something. That is true.
right? So our endeavor is to give access to students of tier 2 tier 3 colleges from tier 2 tier 3 cities, because they can now compete and have a level playing field. Similarly, on the other side, whatever scarce talent or limited talent is there, that is all absorbed by big large MNCs, right? And our startups are left high and dry, and that's actually scuttling the innovation. So now we are also telling the startups, you don't have to worry that there's only limited talent. You can log into our platform and have a curated talent for your startup. So both sides, it's serving a purpose, both in terms of democratizing opportunities and
And
democratizing talent to the
good.
companies.
No.
So
So
here
how
is
it
the,
works, yeah.
yeah, so it starts with the login, which is math.talentfarm.ai,
Okay.
and I'm signing into the platform. You see there's a catalog of problem statements which has
Okay.
come up in different areas. It could be in fintech, it could be in agriculture space, it could be in enterprise space. There are several problem
Different
statements,
subjects.
different problem
Okay.
statements being sourced by different companies. For example, crop monitoring using computer vision, or diagnostic and medical imaging, how to use AI, or fake news detection and prevention, or
Fake
how
news.
to.
How fake? Which fake news?
So
Like that?
there's so much of fake news going on social media now. All of
Yeah.
us are affected by this. So we are now
Yeah.
challenging the
Huh.
students as to how you will use AI and machine learning to solve that problem.
How it works?
So
Yeah.
we do give them some inputs and directions, but it is also for them
Okay.
to present their idea. And of course, our mentors will validate that and help them in guiding.
Okay.
Similarly, how do you get the underbanked into the formal credit system? See,
Okay.
in India, or for that matter, in a lot of other developing countries, you still have a very limited population which has credit score,
Yes.
right? So if I go for a loan, or even if I don't go, I get 3 calls every day,
Yeah.
लोन ले
Lonely.
लीजिए. बट जिसको जरूरत है उस बेचारे को तो कोई देता ही नहीं है, बिकॉज उससे पूछते हैं आपका क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री क्या है.
Credit
कोई
history or
देगा
is
तभी तो
property
क्रेडिट
or
हिस्ट्री शुरू
something you
होगा.
have. Yeah.
Credit history will start only when someone gives him a
Yeah.
loan, right?
Huh.
So how do you use new technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning to pick up parameters beyond the traditional parameters? So these are the kind of challenges that are put. So if you see, it's not just about programming challenges. These are real life problem statements. These are real life. So what it also does is makes the student think about those domains, and that is the need of the hour. if you really look at things, technology will soon become a commodity.
I know.
It is the domain knowledge. It is, are you a thinking professional? So our offer to the companies is, these are not people who are just programming geeks, because wo to kal Copilot will do it, some other platform will also start doing coding at basic level and all. But these are people who are understanding the problem of the customer, coming up with their approach to solution, getting it validated by industry mentors, and then building end-to-end solution and presenting it. That I think is a very holistic approach. Then of course, once you can select a problem statement, once you go into the platform, there is all kinds of parameters that are there. I'll just,
So you can type your problem, then
yeah,
they'll get the response like this,
correct. So
chatting or something.
there is enough support which is available by various mentors and all that. So we have mentors listed, for example, for each of the problem statements.
So
You
this
can
is like student
interact with the
side,
team. You
like
can discussion.
any student
Yes,
have a issue, or a
yes.
professional want to join, that
Same.
option
It
also.
is. It is similar. There is very little difference between a
Yeah.
professional and this thing, because both are seekers and both are
And you
learners.
said the very interesting point that the professional will get paid. So that
Yeah,
was
because I
on
keep
what
telling
basis
this.
the money? Yeah.
I'm a parent myself,
Yeah.
and you understand, today to make our kids learn something, we also have to dangle a carrot in front of them.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
we realized is, while we believe that we are doing something good in terms of getting problem statements, mentors, and learning resources, we realize that it is still not enough. If we have to excite them to start doing something,
Yeah.
one way of doing that could be put up some incentives. So we have incentives ranging from cash prizes like 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees, to pre-placement offer, internship offer.
Okay.
हर टाइप का लालच दिया जाता
Okay.
है कि please come on the platform and do, because see, they need that initiation.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
that spark, we don't have to do anything. In fact,
True.
I'm sure then they will run after us. But
Yes.
you have to create that interest, and to attract the students, to create that interest, we're doing all this because ultimately we want good students on our platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my definition of good students is someone who starts trying. So we want students to start trying this platform. And once they start trying this, obviously they will also like it. They will be excited about the mentors. They will be excited about the problem statements. And that's what we
So
want.
at what age you started this? Like,
I started Idea Labs in 21, when I was 21, just out of my college.
okay.
Those were days when startup was probably not a
Not the
very,
people even don't know
yeah,
what is that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I come from a business family background,
You
and
left, you're from a business
for
family.
some reason,
Yeah.
because my parents didn't want me to go to US, I stayed back in Hyderabad. But I was the only guy in my whole class, or perhaps my whole college, who stayed back in India, because in those days in 97,
Everybody
as you
going
would
to
understand,
US.
there was no IT industry in this.
Oh.
And I think in those days I would just tell a phrase to defend myself, that geography will not make a difference to my destiny.
Oh,
And I'm
great.
glad
What a
it did
line.
not. And I think with Idea Labs and Talentfarm.ai, we are trying to do the same thing. When we go to rural colleges today, when we go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, we tell those students the same thing, that geography will not make a difference to your destiny.
Wow.
So
So
I
when
think,
21 years and you were from a business family, didn't your father told you, we already had a business and you're planning something?
yeah, but see, when you're 21, you want to do something on your own. You want to create your own identity. You feel that, you don't want to be on the shoulders of your parents. I mean, after working for 20, 25 years, now if someone gives me an option, I would still do what I did, right? Because it's very exciting. And when you do something that you're passionate about, I think it makes a lot of difference. And I think a huge role of my mentor has also been there.
But there will be a struggle of explaining people
There will
getting
be.
funds
There
because
will be.
what he's
There
doing,
is.
what
There
is
is.
startup? Now, if we say it's a trendy and
There is.
status, you
There
know?
is. It was not easy, but I think after 2014-15, thanks to all this startup India culture, culture of innovation, culture of this thing, now we are really finding that a lot of people understand these things, because when we started with Idea Labs, the incubation program. This was in 2003. Now,
Okay.
those were days no one understood Idea
Exactly.
Labs or incubation. We had to explain this incubation is not that incubation where
It looks
chicken,
so complicated.
where eggs are produced, right? But God has been kind. I think we stand on the shoulders of our mentors, we stand on the shoulders of our partners from the ecosystem, because while for us it is still an initiative which is a for profit initiative, lot of mentors spend innumerable number of hours as part of our initiative, giving back, right? Because they see this platform as a platform which is creating an impact.
Yes.
So I think a lot of credit goes to our supporters, friends, mentors who have all been there, and especially the students,
Student.
because word of mouth. When a student says that this is a good platform, word of mouth, when a student says that this organization is doing good, there's nothing to beat that. No publicity, no PR, no marketing
Nothing.
and advertisement can beat that.
And the thing was, people were misguided so much. Misguiding
Absolutely.
was
Oh,
happening.
there is a huge
Consultant.
amount of
People always
trust gap.
think consultant. They used to take money. "Aapki
Absolutely.
we'll get you job done." So I think these
In
kind of
fact,
platforms sometimes, yeah,
absolutely. In fact, one of the reasons why we are not charging the students is that eventually we may want to charge the students after a few years, but at least for the first
you
few
get
years,
settled down,
yeah.
get the right job.
Because if we were to go to the same students and say we charge, they would ask us the same questions
Yes.
because they have been cheated so many times.
Yeah.
And this is very important, Nehaji. You have to understand these students are at an age group where whatever you do to them, they will do to the society.
Yes. Very good line.
Right? They are in that 18 to 22 kind of a thing. Imagine they being cheated, imagine their trust being lost. They will never be a good citizen. So
Very
it is a
true.
duty of all of us to ensure that we give them the right deal so
Good
that
path.
they become
Yeah.
good human beings. And I have seen it so many cases that, people talk about payback. I
Huh.
talk about pay forward, right? There's no way we can pay back to people who have helped us, but we
Huh.
can definitely pay
Pay
forward to
forward.
others. And I
Yes.
can tell you with all guarantee, a student or a professional who will go through this system and gain something because of us, because of our mentors, because of the ecosystem, don't you think he will go out and help 10 other students? And that's when we are solving
It
the
will
problem.
happen. You got
So,
cheated sometime, and
no,
that hurts you, and then you thought,
no,
okay.
no. So I have been very fortunate. हाँ,
Okay.
लोग बोलते हैं कि you become a good शायर जब आपका दिल टूटता है and all that. But I have been very fortunate that God has been
Me,
very
there
kind.
always a time when you like
I
see
have
something and then
always
you
so
the
that
idea clicks you.
so there are two ways I believe. One is if you get cheated. The other is if you have been very blessed. In my case, it has been the second case.
Very
Whether it's
good.
my parents, whether it's my teachers, whether it's my
And
family,
your
whether it's my
mind, your
mentor,
talent.
whether it's my partners, whether it's my team, for example. I have not spoken about my team, but can you imagine doing this kind of thing without team effort?
It's not
Impossible.
possible.
Until today, everyone who has worked with me in the last 20 years is still in touch with me. We have our own WhatsApp group, and I can probably call my ex team member 12 o'clock midnight with greater confidence than my current team member. That's the
Great.
kind
You
of
have a great
relationship.
leadership quality, I
No,
must
it
say
is also
so.
because of them. They
Yeah.
inspire because these young people, when they work hard, they inspire us. So I think it's been
So,
a
what was your first amount you invested?
wow, what a question. Investment, though, I took from my father, and that was very
That was
huge.
a father.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I
What year it was?
because I started with this, so I had absolutely
Oh, no
no
money.
earning of my own, right? This
Okay.
was 2003. By then, I had worked for 3-4 years
You were
with my
21, 22 years, right? Like,
I had
so that,
worked
okay.
3-4 years with my mentor, but when you are in a
Have
joint
your
family
own, yeah.
system, it's not like your money, right? Whatever you earn, you go and give
So,
back to your mother, and
for,
whatever you want, you take it
yeah.
from her. So
So,
it
from
was
your startup to invest, what was your first money?
no, I frankly, again, that's a huge blessing because it's only after 1.5 year I realized that in those days we had invested 50 to 60 lakhs.
That time you
2003 invested,
invested
yeah,
50
because
lakh.
infrastructure, hardware, software, furniture, all of that. And my dad never complained. I mean, you cannot imagine what that support could have been, right? Because I didn't realize I was so busy just focusing on my idea, focusing on my work and all that. It's only after 1.5 year I sat down and I was, generally having a discussion, and then my father showed me, but yeah, we have to also recover some
Okay.
amount of that. So I genuinely believe that in anything that you do in life, there is a role of angels. Uh, they could be your parents, they could be your mentors, they could be your family members, they could be your team members, they could be your co-founders, or they could be people from outside
Yeah.
also, right? I've had so many instances where people from outside have just come in right time and help. So that's
Help.
where I believe that you can only do that much. Beyond that, there is always a divine intervention if
Right.
something has to become great. So I only pray to God that we stay correct to our course, our moral compass is in the right direction, and that is also where we have a lot of senior mentors as advisors. For example, in Talent Farm, we have Professor UB Desai, who's the founding director of IIT Hyderabad,
Oh.
as the advisor. We have several other advisors. Now, what that does is it ensures that you're staying on your path, you're not
Right.
deviating from your path, because it's
Right.
very easy to
True,
get
true.
tempted, right?
But this was your first journey, as you tell your experience, and then let's come back to your Talentfarm.ai. I think it's been latest.
It's only about 6 months old. In fact, we've started going to market only 1 month back.
But I think how the response is, like as you was telling,
Response
like
is
people are.
tremendous. Response is tremendous, and that's because of two, three things, I think. One is, of course, a little bit of credibility that we have. We've been in the same industry for quite some time, so goodwill has a very huge role to play. And when I come from a business family background, I think I want to emphasize on the importance of goodwill.
Yes.
When I started my business, and we were talking about that a little while earlier, my father did not tell me that you should earn this much money or you should get back this much money every month. There was only one advice he gave me. He said, look, our family has a certain reputation which your grandfather and my father has created. If you can enhance it, it's very good. If you cannot enhance it, it's okay, but just ensure that you don't diminish it. And that still stays with me. That's the only advice, that's the only condition, that's the only demand he had.
So then that's business also going on,
That's good.
and this is your new baby. So in this, how much investment started, and in 6 months?
This is a bootstrap version. I'm not sure whether I should be talking about the investment, but quite a bit we have invested in this. Again, because of our passion. So I have my co-founder also, Sudarshan Tyagarajan. But we are very excited about it.
So as the slab is going,
we've just turned revenue positive this month because we've gone to market only this month, but we are quite confident. And at some point of time, we also want to raise some investment, but we want to raise after proving a point, because I'm also generally on the investment board of a lot of investment companies, and I know what are the questions that investors ask. So I don't want to go there and make a fool of myself. There are obvious questions in terms of traction, in terms of paying customers and all that. So right now our focus is to work on a pilot with about 10,000 students.
And you said that the colleges from Delhi, Bombay, not from the Hyderabad, other cities
Hyderabad
also
also.
are coming.
Hyderabad also.
Even Hyderabad, but other cities are also collaborating.
Correct. We have from Udaipur, Sir Padampat Singhania University to Adi Shankara University in Kerala. We have ICFI campuses from northeast to Hyderabad. We have KG Somaya and Symbiosis from west.
So that all students can get the right knowledge. So don't you think when the colleges collaborating, you somewhere they are also lacking the kind of knowledge and the kind of recruitment they promise? Mostly, if we see some of the college, they promise, oh, after your this course is done, we'll give you campus training. Is it just like they are trying to collaborate in same way? कि campus training भी हो रही है, and are they like trying to guide these students in this way?
Correct. So colleges play a very important role in our journey. In fact, it's not a B2C platform as of now. It's still a B2B2C. So we tell the colleges that don't look at us as a outsider, look at us as a collaborative partner. And we are here to help you. Because frankly, colleges also have the right intentions. But the problem is,
but they promise campus recruitment sometimes.
and I would say in most of the cases, having worked with colleges for last 20 years, I would say they do it with good intent. But the system is such that the companies who are recruiting, the students and the colleges, all three are in silos. They don't talk to each other, and there's an element of mistrust. Student, when he goes to college, he doesn't believe in his college. College starts with an impression that all students nowadays are not good. Right? So there's a lot of mistrust, and I think that's where we are also playing a role of a connecting dots in terms of being a sutradhar in this ecosystem. Because if you ask me personally, I don't see any problem with recruiters, I don't see any problem with colleges, I don't see any problems with students. On their own, they are all good. If you sit with the chairman of any college, if you sit with the leadership of any college, they have invested so much of money, they put so much of effort. Obviously, they want their organization to do well. Who would not want their college or university to do well, right? So they want to do well. The intent is good, but somehow there is a little bit problem in the approach they follow. If you look at student, can you imagine any student or any human being not wanting to progress, not wanting to do well in life? Of course they want to, but they don't believe in themselves. Sometimes there's a lack of confidence, there's a lack of trust. The student would probably have joined a college which he did not like, so he carries that impression. He doesn't have right guidance. Neha ji, one important thing that our kids, our young students lack nowadays is the role model. when we grew up, we had a lot of role models in our life, and that is what created that
We
fuel
had
in
a
our body.
joint family that time. Now
Be it
nuclear
joint
families are
family,
there.
be it teachers, be it our belief in them, right? Today, there's a lot of challenge with that, right? And similarly, if you look at companies and recruiters, why would they not want to recruit people, right?
So then why this all happens? The
So that there is a talent
employment,
farm, so that there is a
yeah,
need for
there
talent
are
farm.
always a news going on and unemployment, youngsters,
It is.
unemployment.
That's
A
what I'm
lot of
trying to say.
things are, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's the paradox. That's the paradox, right?
I think India has a great job
Oh,
opportunities
absolutely. And not only for India, but we can be a job, I mean, we can be a
provider.
talent provider for the entire world.
World, yeah.
The whole world is aging, and India is only the young nation. And you know, our people will do anything if they get a good opportunity, right? So I think the future is very bright for India, and we are set to become a global skill provider to the entire
So
world.
according to your research, India has lot of job opportunity.
Absolutely.
I think there should not be the word unemployment should be.
Absolutely. Be challenging you. You are here in T Hub. There are typically about 400 plus startups here. You please walk down all the floors and talk to any startup. All of them in unison will say, we are looking for talent. We are not finding talent. In
Oh
fact,
my
just I
God.
think yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a job fair conducted in T Hub. So what I'm trying to say is, with all responsibility, I can tell you, every company is looking for talent and every candidate is looking for a job. What we need is probably a matchmaker, and that's perhaps
But
what
do you
Talent
think
Farm is
you
going to.
said one point like now we see more of the entrepreneur this coming up T Hub. Everybody wants to start their own business,
Correct.
and then you need an employer. So I think that's why the talent is missing because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to work under somebody, and then that's why you think okay we are not getting the job opportunities or they are all are becoming independent in that like they wanted an independent to work. Do you think that because
So,
of that something is lacking, the
two,
job employers we are not getting?
yeah. So two things here. One is uh, one is the fact that if you really get down to brass tacks, 95% of India still needs a job. Whatever I may have a fancy, the social background from where people come, the societal pressures, the acceptance of parents, all this put together, I think 95% of India still looks for a job.
Job
Okay, so entrepreneurship, startup, while we see everywhere,
starting freshers you
है ना?
can get like 3-4 years they'll spend.
While we see that kind of culture growing, the fact is that the ground reality is people still need jobs. But I have another point. I have always believed that everyone should have an entrepreneurial mindset. While everyone cannot start up, everyone can be an entrepreneur. You can still be working in a company and be an entrepreneur. That way, you're a proactive professional. You take up things on your own. You don't blame others for your failure. You're not waiting for instructions. So, what India needs is everyone to be an entrepreneur or everyone to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Some may start up, some may not start up. And if they have this entrepreneurial mindset, they may start up after a few years.
Getting the
You can still be,
experience.
you can still have all that liberty within your organization also. So I find a little distinction between this word entrepreneur and startup. I believe everyone can be an entrepreneur, should be an entrepreneur, but everyone may not start up.
Yeah.
Right, they will start up when the circumstances are good.
Job is your trade. I think it's a platform to learn.
Absolutely. By the way, the Talent Farm platform produces these entrepreneurial mindset people, produces these innovators.
What
Many of
psychology
them
you
will also
need.
become startups. Maybe immediately, maybe after some
So you
time.
work on this, you do the counseling part also of becoming going for a startup or want to be entrepreneur because you need a lot of psychology effect.
So
Lot of pressure is there. Should I go out or not? If a somebody, I've been interviewing so many people who were in CEO level, they were getting good amount, they were in US. It taken 4, 5 years to come back and think, okay, I want to start my own. So what counseling and
So I work a lot with the ecosystem. I also mentor a few startups. I've also invested in a few startups. But you're right, people need guidance, and
yes,
it's always
psychology
easy.
point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think there's this risk-taking ability which has been improving. I think the only thing that we need is a little bit of acceptance from the society. Somewhere in our country, a business failure is treated as a failure of person, right?
True, that's
So
a big
people
line,
don't say कि
yeah.
इसका business fail हो गया. People say कि he
Yeah,
has
he
failed,
has failed.
right? A society which does not accept failure cannot innovate. You see, in the
So you
West,
need to be failure?
absolutely, absolutely. In entrepreneurial world, we say fail and fail fast, because failure is the stepping stone for next. You know, it's very good in colleges to say, look at Edison. He tried making a bulb 10,000 times, but he failed, and finally he made. ये story तो सब सुनाते हैं. But tell me, who at our home accepts a son of theirs or daughter of theirs to fail? Who in a company accepts their employee to fail? Unless we start accepting failure, unless we start accepting that, oh, this person has, when I say failure, I'm not saying it is at the cost of not putting effort and all that.
Yeah.
Obviously you should put your effort, obviously you
Sometimes
should
you fail,
give
you're
your,
putting efforts
but
also.
you have tried something new, and that's why you have failed, which is perfectly okay. Now try again, right? Till we don't change that mindset, none of us at home, none of us in an organization, none of us in government, none of us as a society accepts failure. We are very happy to brand and label people as failures, and that is what is stopping India from its true potential.
Yes.
The day we accept a person's attempt and appreciate that he has attempted something, I think we will be in a different zone.
So we
and
can
a
get
different
more
orbit.
startups,
Absolutely, not only
inventors.
startup, in every aspect of life. So many relationships, so many families get destroyed because of these kind of challenges, right?
Yes.
We should start accepting failure because it is part and parcel of life.
So in India, we need more startups.
We need more
We need-
startups. We need more entrepreneurs.
Main, you have to accept the failures.
Absolutely,
I think.
absolutely. So if I've worked for 20 years, has it come without failures? No. Every day we fail, and every day again we get up and say, hey, yesterday we failed, but today we will not.
Good one, great inspiration. Yeah. I really, I mean, the way you have guided also your journey, especially I think the students will get inspired. So, what you have to tell to the students that, don't be scared, come, and what you will give? Three lines.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think irrespective of whether they join Talentfarm.ai or not, I think I just want to tell the students that each one of you are unique, each one of you has potential. If a person like me has been able to do something, you can do it better than me. And there is so much of opportunity in India today that you don't have to look back. Just buck up and take up this challenge and prove to people around you, prove to yourself that you have so much potential in yourself. So
But why you said the person like me?
Yeah,
what
because
you thought in your somebody, I mean, there was something in your mind, or somebody put you in mind you cannot do this, or something, your experience you can share, and you just tell them, okay, you told me this, now I have proved.
No, I'm too self-confident and egoistic a guy to
From-
listen to anyone else. However,
Naturally, it was naturally. Okay.
thanks to
You-
my parents,
Uh-huh.
my mentors and all. But there is a feeling in India that if you're not from a Ivy League institute, if you're not from an IIT, if you're not from a IIM, then there's a problem.
There is a
And
zero future for you.
or not as bright,
Yeah.
right? And I want to tell this with all humility that while I don't
What
want to
was your
undermine,
qualification? I'm asked to
I
ask.
did my
Like,
engineering,
okay,
bachelor's of engineering from
a normal college.
normal college
From Hyderabad?
from Hyderabad.
Okay.
And I just want to tell this without undermining the people who do IIT and IIM. Of course, they're doing great job, right? But like I said earlier, talent is not a proprietary of any geography. Similarly, I think life gives you a new canvas every few years. If you have missed the bus of not getting into a top institute in IIT or IIM,
They
and
get
not,
depressed.
no, don't have to. It's okay, because 3-4 years after your career, you'll have a new platform for the next 10 years. 10 years after your career, you'll have a new phase. So life keeps giving new phases and new canvases. You don't have to look back at your previous track record or things. You always have a chance to get up and start afresh. And I think that's what makes all the difference.
That's why people say an idea can change your life.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So I think there is no need for anyone to feel bad. Sometimes I go to the extent of feeling that whatever happens, happens for good, in the sense, right? Because we see so many people who come from ordinary backgrounds and they do wonderfully well, because your marks and all that are good till a certain point of time. But ultimately, what matters is your
Practical
attitude.
experience. Yeah.
So if you have a good attitude, there's nothing to worry. And if you don't have a good attitude, then I think you should
So I
work on
think
it.
these are all the qualities need to have before you go for any startup.
Absolutely. Whether it's a startup, whether it's being a working professional, whether it's being a entrepreneur, anything for that matter, I think attitude matters a lot.
So you go with the attitude. That's
Attitude
it.
matters a lot. People you are surrounded with matters a lot.
So if you 3 tips you have to give a person who's looking to start You want to have has good idea and he want to start up.
Sure.
So what three things he should come up with?
So a lot of people talk about passion. I
Mm.
think more than passion, commitment is important.
Mm.
Startup is not like a date which you have on a weekend and you get some results. It's like a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay put with that.
The up and downs, whatever come, you have to go with that. Okay,
Correct.
great.
Second thing I would say is success doesn't come overnight. For every success story that you read, there are years and years of
Spend,
sleepless
yeah.
nights. So do not expect things to come overnight. Do not expect that everyone is waiting for your idea. With 20 years of my experience in this industry, even today, I go for a feedback from the student, from the college, and some of them don't like what I am doing. And I
Yes,
have to accept it with
accept it.
humility and go back and think, how do I change their perception?
Wow.
Right? So success doesn't come overnight. And I think the third and more important thing is it is very important that you think about the larger ecosystem, bigger picture, your team, your co-founder, your entire thing, because you cannot gain anything, and that gain would also be useless and of no meaning if it has come by hurting people around you. So I think
Wow.
teamwork plays a very important role. You
True.
cannot achieve anything on your own. You need your team, you need people around you, you need your clients to vouch for you, you need your partners to support you, and that only happens when you're looking at taking
True.
care of everyone around you with best of your
And
ability.
sometimes people say, give me 1 year. If I succeed, succeed. If I don't, I'll go back. I think
So
this is also psychology wise. People are so much surrounded by this.
so I have been taking that extension from my parents for the last 20 years now.
Give me 1 more year. Give me 1 more year.
Next time.
So I think this should not be there like, okay, this 1 year, okay, I'll do it and then come out. I think how
I think different
it's
people have
good. So,
different circumstances, so I would not say one way or the other. Sometimes it's okay to leave also. If things are not working, it's perfectly okay
but
to
I
leave
like
it.
this line. The startup is like a marriage.
Yeah, it
So
is.
if
At least
first or second,
for me, it has been like that.
but it's your
But
first marriage because you have to.
it's not necessary that people should stay put. If something is, uh, I think it's important to quit also. It's also important to know when to quit in a
When to
startup, and
quit.
that's where it's different from marriage. It depends on circumstances. It depends on
Financial
financial
status.
thing. There's no sometimes startups also take too much of burden in continuing what is
Yes.
not working.
Yes.
So I would not advise that they
So
should
how
do
much
that.
time they should give? One
So there
year, I
is,
think.
I don't think there is any such template, and I would advise entrepreneurs not to follow any template because everyone's circumstances,
Are
everyone's situation
different.
is very different. Have a few mentors around you, listen to them, and then I think you have to figure out your own way. Unfortunately, there's no textbook for entrepreneurs.
Great, great, great.
There's
That's true.
no textbook to follow template.
I mean, I must say, I had an eye-opening conversation with you. I really enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pankaj ji. I mean, I think this video will going to inspire so many students to come to your platform. And if they are not coming, what they need to do, that will actually
That's very
you
important.
half of the I think psychology counseling you did. That's more important. More of the videos are need to
The,
be done and spread.
in the role that we play as a leader in the organization, sometimes at home and all that, we all end up becoming those counselors.
I know that needed. Your words take your mind and then it start working, right? So, but we have to take it for the right man who actually have that given a blood and time for the things. So, thank you so much, Pankaj, talking to us. It was
Thank
a
you.
really inspirational interview, eye-opening interview for all the students out there watching this. What do you need to do? How you can start on your own business? What tips needs to keep in mind? You must watch this video. It will going to help you. For more updates, keep watching iDream. Till then, goodbye.